just we are live. So welcome, Melissa. How are you, beautiful?
Thank you, Lucia. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really well today, thanks. How are you?
Well, thank you. Bit uncomfortable with a slight, issue overnight, but otherwise I am here. One thing about business owners or small business owners is that we are resilient, and health is one of our biggest values, I believe, because when we don't have health, that's when hey Reg, when we don't have our health, that's when things can go a little bit awry. So definitely looking after your health. And I remember a little bit about your journey with your young son. But I'd love the group, Global Business Leaders, to know a little bit more about Melissa, the coach, and the person that supports people on their helping their children with the allergies, etc. Because you've been on that journey, you've lived it, haven't you? Yeah.
Yes, I've lived it and breathed it. Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
my oldest son, he's now 12 and a half, and
Is he
time
really?
really does fly.
Yeah.
I know you've sort of seen him grow up over the years, Lucia,
Yeah. Yes,
recently.
I have.
Yeah, so he was diagnosed with eczema as a baby. So he was
Yeah.
4 months old,
Mhm.
and we went the conventional route, but it just really wasn't helping.
Mm.
So it helped a bit, but as soon as you stopped that, it came back, and it came back even worse. And for me, I like to know why things happen.
Yeah.
It's really important to me to get an understanding. I love learning. I love fixing things. I love to get to the nitty gritty. And so for me, with the steroids, that typical medical approach, we were told to use them just a bit, but not too long.
Mhm.
Um, and that is the advice that everyone gets. You use them, and then it will essentially, you're told that, or it's insinuated that it's going to go away, and it never
Yeah.
goes away
No.
because the skin, is a symptom that something else is going on internally.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I was doing my PhD at the time, and I spent
Mhm.
more time researching eczema and allergies than my actual physio
Yeah.
thesis, which
Yeah.
is why it probably took me 8 years to finish. But I looked into the reasons and potentially root causes for eczema and allergies,
Yep.
and we started there. So ended up helping him heal from the inside out.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had eczema since he was, you know, 1.5.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
I have one of my clients that is in the client success program, and she does very similar work. Helps people understand just the additives and the things that are in food that are really typically not nourishing the body.
Yes.
They're in some ways they're harmful to the body. So can you share a little bit about your business now, what your business model is, but also, I know the reason you followed that path, but maybe some of the challenges that you faced. And I can think of one, and it's probably a white coat, but yeah, just share with me, a little bit about that journey, because he's 12 and a half, which is mind blowing. I can't believe he's that
Yeah,
age.
yeah.
It's incredible.
He it's so yeah, challenges at the time were the general gist that you give your power over to someone else who's an expert in one particular area, so like the skin. And
Yeah.
obviously we need doctors and specialists
Yeah,
when it
absolutely.
comes to emergencies and things like that. I've worked in hospital for nearly 20 years. I totally get it. But
Yeah.
what happens is you're a specialist in skin, and then you have a specialist in lungs, and you have a specialist in the heart, and everything works in a silo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
There's
so
no
there's no
alignment.
connection between the
Mm,
skin and the gut. for example, the research shows that there is, and there
Yeah.
certainly is. It's such a big connection.
Yeah,
But
very big.
just, that medical model where you're taking that power away, or the power is taken away from you as a mum or
Yeah.
as a parent, and also you lose that intuition, the mother's instinct. You're
Yes.
sort of
Yeah.
told to put that aside.
Yeah. Yeah. You are.
So that really didn't sit well with me. And so what I do now is help parents with improving their confidence and
Yeah.
getting the information and resources that they need to then help their own child heal.
Right.
Obviously, there's so many aspects to health that we know, nutrition, what we eat, what we put on our skin, our environment, our stress levels, all of those things impact our health.
Yeah.
And so I bring that bigger picture information to parents
Yeah.
and then just step them through it one thing at a time.
Yeah. Small steps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Small
Because you
steps.
can get really overwhelmed
Mm.
when your child is sick and you don't have the mental capacity to make a change.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
help parents do those things
Navigate
more
that.
easily. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. 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 Navigate that, because it is. You have a young mum, a new mum. She might be what, 20, 25, 21, 25. Whatever, 30. It's all new. And hello, Ariel. How are you? Beautiful. And everything's so new and challenging in itself, and then when you have a dilemma, that you as a mother maternally want to fix, because that's just a maternal instinct. You want to make them better if they're not they're not feeling well. That's
Yeah.
a natural instinct as a mum. And it's quite interesting when that is taken away from you, because, as you know, I've got a disabled daughter, and many times I had to push back and just say, you know what, I'm her mum. I know there's something going on. Okay, darling. Thank you. Bye. I know there's something going on. Listen to me. I think that is changing. I strongly believe that it's people like yourself that are even, I kind of believe, educating doctors
Yes.
around the connections, around the the gut and the mind, because a little baby gets very stressed when there's something wrong, and that's the only way that they can voice what's happening.
Yes.
So your business model now, you coach parents mainly, is it? Mainly parents?
Yeah, mainly parents, mainly mums, because
Yep.
they're usually the main carer of kids at home, but obviously any parent of a child with
Yeah.
eczema or allergies and asthma. And then also adults come to me too, because the information is the same across the board, whether or not you're a child or an adult.
Yeah.
Um, and also, same results, same really great
Yeah.
confidence and changes and improvement as
Mm.
well.
In their confidence. Oh, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for what, 12 and a half years with your son, but you've been in the industry, I guess, if you could call it an industry, for over 20 years. Is that right? You've been.
Yeah. So my background is I'm a physiotherapist, and I've
Mhm.
worked in the hospital setting with other health professionals
Right.
for 20 years now. And so I understand the model of care there, and I
Yeah.
understand collaboration as well, and how to advocate within the system. We've had so my husband was quite unwell last year, and so for
Oh,
the last 18 months, we've been on the other side in the healthcare system, and it's
right.
been really eye-opening to
Again.
be a patient or a
Yes.
patient's
Again. Yeah.
partner, and really understand that it's often not about the patient. And so how to advocate well and advocate for yourself in hospital or with your with your health professional, whether that's a doctor or it's a naturopath or a clinical nutritionist
Anyone.
or
Yeah. Yep.
whoever. Yeah, just to how to ask. Sometimes it's really hard to know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I just have a very simple framework of asking 5 questions, and it's for anything that you might want to
Yeah.
implement as far as a
Mm.
medication goes, or a new cream, or a new intervention, just to run through those things so you feel like you are informed,
Informed.
and
Yeah.
you are allowed to ask questions.
Yes, 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 yeah, yeah. I learned that very young, and you probably did too.
Yeah.
Ask the questions, be confident, because you're surrounded by kind of like all that hierarchy, but you really have to step into your own and really own the fact that you're the advocate for that individual that you're caring for, whether it's your husband, whether it's your child. So let's talk a little bit about you help people understand. Is it through food? Is it through natural health? What
Yeah, so
how do you help them? Yeah.
So it's the bigger picture. So often people will say, okay, it's the food trigger that's causing it. And it
Hmm.
can be. But for many people, once they remove some of the top allergens or the food triggers, this eczema is still there.
It's still there.
And so it's diving deeper. So it's a systematic framework that I teach, talking about doing things slowly. It's called the health framework. It's
Hmm.
habit stacking to reduce
Yeah.
overwhelm, and just making sure that the parent is okay. Because if you're not okay as the parent,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really hard to implement change.
Yeah. It
So
is.
I
Yeah.
always start with the health of the parent.
Yeah.
And then we talk about eating, what we eat as food triggers, because there
Hmm.
can be top allergens or food intolerances that are really, really common, like gluten, sugar, dairy, soy. They're
Yeah.
sort of the top 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, then I talk about addressing inflammation in the body, and that can be through environment, or what we're exposing ourselves to each day.
Yeah.
L is for light therapy and lymphatics. So we
Yeah.
talk about that because that can be a nice shortcut as well, bringing
Yeah.
in some phototherapy and acupressure.
Hmm.
T is for topical. So being really aware of all of our personal care products.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
are we using a toothpaste with some carcinogens in them?
Nasty, isn't it? Yeah.
Are we
Yeah.
using a deodorant with hormone disruptors or potential, skin irritants?
Mm-hmm.
Things that you would think that we would put on our body every day should be safe, but actually it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then H is for hydration and gut health.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
As you can see, I've got bottles of water here, trying to
Yeah.
hydrate at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you have a hobby? Is there anything that you, love to do? Because you're in Victoria, you're in Melbourne, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's right.
based in Melbourne. So yeah, do you have a hobby, or is there anything, that you love to do that helps you to get back to Melissa, because you're supporting a lot of people. Is there something that you love to do just for you?
I love gardening, and I never thought I would love gardening. I never thought I would, and then I do.
Yeah.
But when we bought our first place, when my husband and I first got married, I wanted to concrete the entire backyard.
Oh
So I have learnt to find my place in the garden, and it's just the being outdoors in nature, the sunshine, the rain. It doesn't really matter. I just get lost in the garden, and
no.
I
Yeah.
think it's maybe growing something, nurturing something,
Yeah.
seeing
It's
something
cathartic.
change
Yeah.
over time. Yeah,
Yeah.
love. That's my
Yeah.
happy place.
I have to say I love gardening. It's one of my most treasured places. Nature and gardening. Like I'll go on the grass and but I've got petunias in at the moment, and my fairy lights are all around the petunias, and it just looks magical. But I love gardening
Beautiful.
as well. I love we have fig trees and olive trees. My olive trees have finally got fruit, so I can't wait for them. They're probably about this big now.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
And will you pickle them? The
yes,
olives?
yeah,
Yeah,
salty water. Yeah,
yeah.
you pick them, cut them, and then salty water. So yeah, we'll
Yeah.
have. Yeah, definitely. Very good
Lovely.
for gut health, as
Yes.
well as the cabbage. We make
Yes.
our own
Sauerkraut.
sauerkraut. Yeah,
Yeah.
because Yeah, we come from a family that loves sauerkraut and potatoes. So,
Yeah, lovely.
yeah, it's our favourite foods. Um, so, are there any tasks in your business that you don't particularly like? Is there anything that, that really you procrastinate around? Because we were just talking about StreamYard, right? How
Yes.
fabulous that is. And I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were a bit of a techie nerd. You love tech. You were really into tech, I remember.
Yes.
So is there something that you're not so into when it comes to business?
What I find challenging is juggling all the plates. So
Mm.
I feel like I'm that, that circus person who spins the poles and all the plates are on the top and
Yeah, yeah,
you've got to keep turning them. So I've
yeah.
just got a VA and she's
Okay.
fantastic. She helps
Yeah,
editing my videos to go up. So
yeah,
I think that doing all the things I find really challenging, but I
yes,
guess videos, I don't mind videoing, doing a 30-second video to go to TikTok or whatever, but
yeah,
it's the editing and the loading and the getting that up out there I
yeah.
find challenging. The
Challenging.
other
Yeah.
thing I really dislike is blog writing.
I don't like blog.
Um,
Yeah.
so what I've done is actually taken some of my videos, or I just speak and get it
Yeah,
transcribed in Word to text.
yeah, yeah, yep, yep,
Um,
yep.
and
The
that's not
beauty of
easy, but I still don't like it.
Yeah, the beauty of a blog, I guess, is that you're sharing your message. Yes, guys, VAs are the
Yeah,
bomb, I believe.
amazing.
Yes, yeah. So
Absolute
we have
staple.
two VAs. We also have a VA hub, which is I think there's 8 or 9 VAs in the business now. Amazing workers. Like the stuff that they do is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But I love to use Otter when I do it. It's one of the cool tools, and then just transcribe everything that you do. So just shortcut everything that you do.
Yeah, it's good to find those
Um,
little tricks.
you got to repurpose, refine, repurpose, and do things once if you can. Pop those videos up onto your website so that they're little freebies and people can get to know, like, and trust you. That type of thing. So,
Yeah.
do you read? Are you a reader? I remember. I thought you were a reader. Yeah, I
I'm an
remember.
avid audiobook consumer.
Audio.
Um, I love reading fiction on holidays, like a
Yes.
really good trashy romance or a trashy, thriller or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I love personal development
Mm-hmm.
books. And
Yeah.
so things like The Slight Edge and Atomic Habits and,
Yeah.
those sorts of books I love to absorb and put into practice,
Right.
which
Yeah.
I've maybe is a bit boring for the mainstream population, but I think business owners could
Business
relate.
owners. Yeah. Business.
Business owners
Most of
could
the
relate.
people that are in the group are business owners. They're
Yeah.
business leaders of some sort. Can I just say, these are the two that I am reading currently. This one and this one.
Ah,
Because
yes.
there's a lot of mindset in business, right? And as you can see,
Yeah.
I've got tabs on everywhere. But Jim Quick, I really like, and Sarah Prout, because this year's been a tough year in business, right? I believe
Yeah.
many people have really had a hard time in business. And business is about, hi, Tony, how are you, beautiful? Business is about a lot of mindset, like that stickability, that and it's the same when you talk about your person's health. It's that keeping consistent with it so that you're giving them the best choices. And oh, that would be my boy. It always happens. You give them the best choice, like you give them the best choices while you can, and then hopefully you've educated them enough to know, because we've got a granddaughter that's got it's not eczema, it's psoriasis.
Psoriasis. Yeah.
psoriasis.
Yeah.
And so, if she eats sugar, her skin just goes crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, she has it bad, but when she looks after it, she's fine. But she's now 16, so she has to be responsible for herself. Her mum and dad have looked after her all this time, and my son has it as well. So they both have this psoriasis. But it's interesting, just as you say, that consistency of it, that guidelines that you share with people, those habits create, the outcome that you really, really want for yourself or for the person that you're treating.
Yeah. Yep. One step at a time, habit stack. I'm a big fan
Mm,
of habit stacking and
yeah,
picking the lowest hanging fruit,
yeah,
something that you
yeah,
think you can just get that win on the board. And that
yeah.
helps with momentum and, you're feeling
Keeping it
good.
going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, do you listen to podcasts at all? Is podcast something that you listen to?
I'm more of an Audible book
Yeah,
listener.
yeah,
But I always felt like I would get into podcasts, but I feel like it's on the list,
yeah,
but
yeah,
there's only so much you can fit in the
yeah,
day.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And you don't
Yeah.
want to be doing too many of those plates, right? Um,
No, no.
and I guess that's the thing, you don't want to be doing too many of those plates, because that's when you get tired and run down, and then you're no good to anybody.
Yeah. I
So
do
yeah,
have one favorite podcast, which is Dawn French and
oh yeah, yeah.
Jennifer Saunders.
Yeah. That's probably when you're driving somewhere and you just need something in your ears to.
Yeah, and also really good for putting furniture together, just listening
Okay,
to the
yeah,
banter
yeah,
while you're putting IKEA furniture.
yeah. I love YouTube. I love YouTube for
Yeah.
that. Like I'll watch all of the. Um, Lately, I've got allergies that I really don't know where it came from. This is from Ariel, one of our VAs, but he lives in the Philippines, and
Yep.
their weather has been just as crazy as our weather. So sometimes it is part of the outside environment, right? That
Yeah, it
affects
can be.
your
Yeah.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And so often sometimes particularly as an adult, you might find that you develop a new allergy after you've had a virus or something. So I don't know if that's been the situation there, but the immune system is down and then it starts to overreact to things.
mhm.
So that might be something to consider. It often still comes back down to gut health, because
Yeah,
when your gut health is better, you can withstand environmental allergens better as
allergies.
well. Our
Yeah.
immune system is housed in our gut.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, as you know, I've got a chronic illness, and I've always had to maintain. That's what today when I was at the doctor's, he said, "How do you maintain your health?" Because I told him the diagnosis, and I said, "I've been diagnosed for 17 years," and I said, "But it's maintained by medication, but also my health, my gut." Like I watch everything that I eat. I've just had green smoothies,
Yeah.
yeah. So everything that goes inside there is monitored, if you like, monitored, because I know how I'm going to react to sugar. I know how I'm going to react to all the different additives there are in food. So I'm
Yeah.
very, very aware. So
And well done, because that can be really hard, Lucia. So,
it can.
it's a real effort, but
Mm.
it's amazing that you can see the link and then you do something about it.
Yeah. Well, for me, I guess. Hi, Anne. We're live. Lovely. So you're not watching the replay. We're still here. It's surprising when it's like I've gone off the rails. Don't get me wrong. I've gone off the rails.
Yeah.
But I know immediately when I've gone off the rails, because I get the brain fog. I get all the symptoms of not eating the right foods. So my body tells me instantly. I went to
Yeah.
Melbourne a few years ago for a conference, and we were drinking espresso martinis and Baileys. When I
Yeah.
got home, my specialist said to me, either you do something about this or you're going to have to go on to steroids. And I went, holy shit, radio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, instantly, you know, like it was a September, I think. And by the time I got home in the December, my body was in that sort of toxicity level. So, short-term plan for your business. What is Dr. Melissa Raymond going to be doing in the next 10, maybe short-term and then long-term?
Yeah. So at the moment, I have a membership called the Happy Skin Collective for Eczema. So it's a
Oh, cool.
$7 a month program. You get
Mhm.
access to the resources and some Facebook support. And then there's sort of group coaching options on top of that, or one-on-one with the rest of my team. So I have a clinical nutritionist, kinesiologist on board as well.
Wow.
And so I'm looking to really support wonderful families who
Yeah.
are at the point of feeling like they want to make a change, or they're not sure what it is.
What the
And
steps
it's
are.
not, you don't have to do this big overhaul all at
Mm.
once. It's just
Yeah.
one step at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also growing my free Facebook community, which
Yeah.
I think we've just hit 1,200 people now. So that's really
Well done.
exciting.
That's awesome. That is exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah.
So tell me, you've written a book.
Mhm.
Have you got it handy to show everyone? Because
Oh, the wonderful thing about my book is that it's an ebook, so it's downloadable
okay,
anywhere
right.
on a
Yep.
device like Kindle, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's available on Amazon. It's called Stop Scratching the Surface. It's a
Right.
frustrated parent's guide to eczema.
Yeah. It's a fantastic book. I remember reading it a number of
Thank
years
you,
ago
Lucia.
for my granddaughter, and it is a fantastic tool just to introduce you to what Melissa actually does. So let us scratching the surface, Reg. If you could just put that in the chat, please, and it can be purchased on Kindle or Amazon. Is it
Amazon, yeah,
Amazon? And
amazon.com.au or amazon.com. Stop
mhm.
Scratching the Surface. Yeah.
Stop scratching the surface. So I think you got that, Reg.
Thanks, Reg.
She's amazing. She's my right arm, Reg. Today she's had to run around and do so much. So anyway, Melissa, I think that's it. We'll put the group name into the chat. So if anyone's got anyone that might be interested in your Stop Scratching the Surface, might be interested in your membership or anything like that, please go on over and introduce yourself to Melissa. She would love to have a chat with you, schedule some time with her, and she can just unpack maybe what's going on for you. I just want to comment, Michelle Pollitt. I'd love for you to touch base with Michelle is one of my clients,
Mhm.
but I'd love for Michelle to get in touch with you, because there may be some things there that, maybe a collaboration or something like that you guys could do together. Michelle is all about alternate foods, but she cooks amazing meals that are no sugar. She uses all the alternatives, so she'll
Yes.
use all the the alternatives in her cooking. Amazing. Her business is the Essential Foodie, I think, something Essential Foodie. But yeah,
Lovely.
Michelle Pollitt, if you would like to connect with Melissa and just have a chat. But anyway, Melissa, thank you so much for today. I've enjoyed connecting with you. It's been fabulous. It's been a while,
It
but
has, yeah. Thank
yeah,
you so much,
you
Lucia, for
really
having
have.
me.
You're welcome. You really have taken your business to the next level. So super proud of you. It's
Thank you.
it was budding the last time I spoke to you. It was just an idea that you were nourishing, and it's like a baby, isn't it? You just bring it to that, from toddler all the way up. So proud of you. And
Thank you.
if you have any any problems with your skin or any of that type of thing, and Melissa might be able, allergies, eczemas, get in touch with Melissa. She would love to talk to you about how she helps parents get their kids to thrive and move through, you know, like she said, her son is 12 and a half now and doesn't have any signs of the eczema. So yeah, thanks, Melissa. And guys, Meet the Business Owner will be back not next week, next year now. So this was our last for the year. We will be back on the I think it's about the 9th or 10th, might be the 10th of February, because I'm taking a month off and just having a really long break. For my business is been quite busy this year, and so my body needs a rest.
Happy holidays. Enjoy
Yes,
it. Well
thank
deserved.
you. I'm sure I'll be chatting on this thing, but you know, yes, we'll be back on the 9th of February. So Meet the Business Owner will be back then, and we'll interview another fabulous business owner who is supporting their clients to have a better lifestyle. Thanks, Melissa, and it's been wonderful. See you later. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye
Achia.
now.
Bye, everyone.